Hey, awaken. So, are you ready for some spiritual manna? Hello and welcome to the Good Info Cafe, where multiple intelligences meet each day. I'm JK. Today it is in heaven as it is in heaven. So, let's see on the menu today. If I can get out in nature, I try to get out in nature. Beautiful day, the birds singing. Well, it's overcast day, but anything outside with nature is beautiful. Better than on screen time inside. So here's the menu for today at the Good Info Cafe. Let's see what I get to and say. Mainly the old city, Jerusalem, and the question of the day, is it a supernatural phenomenon? And I'm going to grade the current grade for Jerusalem and Old City. What's the current grade for that? And then the priority rating with that. So here I am at my new digs, and like I said, I'm going to try to get outside. And I want to make sure to honor Jenny Moore Task Force when we do the 3-hour tour, the Team Webb, the George Webb Army, whatever we end up calling it. And thank you to John for really taking the helm of the boat. And so I got my Gilligan hat. I'll be ready when it's time. And John's the professor, and George is the captain, and the skipper. George is the skipper, and everyone will have their character or not. It's fine. Want to have fun as we expose the deep state and mock the ruling control freaks. So want to make sure that we honor her. I'll do music, fun, big serious concepts, information literacy, and hope with the Good Info Cafe on the boat, but whatever fits in with the context. So so we're working that out, and I hope to meet with McDuff John later on through his Switcher studio to talk about some music and harmonies and all that kind of stuff. All right, so let's break bread. Nutritious input, so free advertising for Dove dark chocolate peanut butter. I love these. Love the dark chocolate part, and I'm getting less and less tolerant of sugar, so I like the things that have less sugar. So dark chocolate has less sugars, if I understand correctly. Your vibe attracts your tribe. That's the message. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So my tribe out there, I hope I set a good vibe. So pause the video if you don't have your nutritious input and go get it so we can break bread and do spiritual manna. So the physical and the spiritual we have here at the Good Info Cafe. And the Good Info Cafe, the coolest thing about it is people can come and go. They like certain parts of it, like they really just like the music part, so they find the music part. Not sure what I'm going to do for a complete music part on this one, but I'll find something. And I know John and George only like the music part, and that's fine. Nobody likes every part of everybody's YouTube channel videos, and we all have our contribution, but I really want to keep Jenny Moore, our Book of Revelations, that's huge. So I'm always going to be doing the End of the Age Book of Revelations in honor of Jenny, and inspired by the conversations we had that I had with Jenny Moore Task Force. So here we go. Dove. It can be, dark chocolate, peanut butter, any kind, but Dove is very good. I haven't looked at but anyway, your tribe. It's a little windy out here. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Could your tribe influence your vibe? All right, here we go. So here's a ribbon came with the gut guitar, my 1938 L5 that my great uncle left to me, and it had the ribbon as if you won the prize. So I don't have his original ribbon, but I got this one for the other guitar. Anyway, a nice Ibanez. I'm not sure if I pronounce it. I think it's Ibanez. And so all right, so the question of the day is yes, so I have shorts on now. Yes, it's a natural phenomenon. Yes, it has a remarkable resemblance to Old City Jerusalem. The walls have been there for 450 years, but it also follows a natural topography. So Mount Moriah goes up, and Jerusalem, Old City does follow. They did fill in the Central Valley, but anyway, it's a sheen, so God's name is written on the natural topography of Jerusalem, the Old City Jerusalem. And the question of the day, the QOD, is going to be, is it also supernatural? And then the grade and priority rating is, I'm going to grade Jerusalem, Old City Jerusalem, that area. And so, here we have the CPU, the Central Processing Unit of Good Information, the Good Info Cafe, is the Information Literacy Action Processor, meaning it's separate from any one person, and everyone can be held by the same standard of accuracy or not, authentic or not. So those two are together. Is access or not? That's one of the biggest things. Part of George Webb's channel is that he's uncovering things, and he does metadata, and he has to have working knowledge. What is it called? Working theory, because there's so much limitation on access, and we need to be much more transparent to deal with the ruling control freaks. We need more transparency overall. Context, clear, relevant, refined. So that is what everyone can answer to, including me, including George. George's already bought into this. The double A to the double C to the double R. That's accurate, access, context, clear, relevant, refined. And that's a critical thinking code. And I talked about last time that creative thinking, I'm going to add to my book. The book's not done yet because of my big move, and I'm still haven't unpacked, but I feel blessed and I'm thankful. And anyway, so creative thinking is going to be part of that. Creative thinking, critical thinking, and creative thinking might be more important in the end of the age. The creative part, because of the artificial intelligence can deal with critical thinking, the logical, better than it can with the creative. So that's one of the things that separates humans, is the creative side. Now we can use creative to do dumb, terrible things, but creative is what does the incredible things also. That's how you get value at good goal, timely. So it's to get value from information, to get good reliable information. You need to have. It helps to have a goal. That's the clarity part, the clear, and it needs to be good, meaning moral intelligence. None of the other intelligences mean anything if you don't have moral intelligence, you're not ethical. So many brilliant people in history weren't moral, weren't ethical, and caused lots of problems with their intelligence and their creativity and whatever. And then miscellaneous is anything else you think of. And I'd like to do a presentation on this, a 10-minute presentation on the tour, on the boat tour. And then, because these concepts are a little more sophisticated here. And here we go. I did not know where you were last night, but that's alright. I can't remember the rest of the song. That's an original. So my grade for current Jerusalem is a C. So this is an A plus, an A 90%, 80%, so 70%, because that's 50% failing, and 0 is way over here, and sometimes I do give a 0 grade. But Jerusalem, the old city and the metropolitan area, mostly the old city, gets a C minus right now. It's, well, how do I explain that? That would be a long discussion. But in terms of the priority, the top priority is down here. This is number 1 priority, is the survival of life itself. Jerusalem is right up there in the top 5 in terms of how it's relevant to the survival of life. The most contested piece of real estate in human history. And back about 6 months ago, I found out that my birthmark, a natural phenomenon, I was born with it, and I'll find pictures of when I was young. So it's a natural phenomenon. The question of the day is it also supernatural? So here, I'm going to try to show this, how that people will see Jerusalem. So they see Jerusalem like this. So on the map, you'll see it. This is the south, this is the west, east, and north. I don't know if it's opposite for me when I'm looking at it, but I think that comes out right. So this right here is the city of David outside the walls, where the original Jerusalem. So it was the Jebusites, and it might have been called Salem because Melchizedek was over here, Mount Moriah, and so he might have been part of that. It might have been Salem, but it might have been called the Jebus city. And then King David with Joab, they conquered it, and it was only just this little sliver here. And then there's the Ophel, and then the Temple Mount. And imagine if there was another birthmark in the shape of the Temple Mount and Old City Jerusalem and the Ophel. Wow, would that be amazing? All right, so let's see. I got my guitar on, but here we go. I think I'm gonna do this. I don't know if I'm gonna end up showing it. I have to see. Does this do it? So there it is on my birthmark. I'm trying to cover up my ugly varicose veins, but there's the birthmark, and there's Old City Jerusalem. So imagine if there was another birthmark that's the Temple Mount, and then the city of David curves like this. And I don't even know if I'm getting it on there, but hopefully I am. The city of David curves, so it goes kind of a rectangle, and then it curves this way. Imagine if that was the case. So there we have it, and I wear this as a necklace. You guys have seen it. I took it off for today. So I always go to this. Take a straight and stronger course to the corner of the light. So I'm trying to think what else. I've been thinking about our fortune, and I've decided that we're really not to blame, for the love that's deep inside us now is still the same. Listen to the tide slowly turning, do ahs, oohs, and ahs, wash all our heartaches away. We are part of the fire that is burning, and from the ashes we can build another day. But I am frightened for your children, and the life that we are living is in vain, and the sunshine we've been waiting for will turn around. All right, so the question of the day is, my birthmark also supernatural? It is a natural phenomenon. And if there was another one in the shape of Temple Mount, the Ophel, and the city of David, would that be supernatural? Because they are natural. And I think that's it so far. I think that's it so far. I think that's it. Goodbye. Echoing around here. Are we in the end of an age?